couple times. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another awesome episode of Power Hour, starring me, your host, Ron Harris, and, of course, the greatest co-host of all time from across the pond in the United Kingdom, from Tiger Towers. Please welcome Giles Tiger Thomas. Giles, you are going to be a busy, busy man these next few weeks. You've put together a second Ronnie Coleman tour. It's going to be going all over that European region. And you have some other news, the Euro Muscle Show that's happening July 13th and 14th in Amsterdam, Netherlands. You're going to be doing something really cool there that I wish I could be there and do with you. What are you doing there?
Well, I only found out the details yesterday because apparently they've already sent me the schedule, but I must have accidentally deleted it. But I basically, myself and Lauren, we announced this a few weeks ago that we were doing the live stream because there's going to be a pro show and a pro qualifier. But we're definitely doing I knew I was definitely doing the live stream commentary with Lauren at the pro show. And they said, "Oh, can you also do a few interviews?" But they were very vague about it. And obviously, when I've been following the page and seeing who's coming and who's been announced and all these different names. So I just kind of put two and two together and I thought, oh, well, that must be, maybe I'm doing something with Wesley or William Bonac or something like that. Yeah. And then the other day they posted it and tagged me in and they confirmed it. They said, oh, no, the people you're interviewing is we want you to host like a talk. I forget the name of the topic. What was the topic? I've got it in front of me. What was the topic? It was there's an actual topic. Right. And it's going to be William Bonac, Kevin Navroni, and also, even though it's not on the graphic, Ronnie will be attending. So I'm going to be sat there in the middle, hopefully with a headset or a mic or something, sat up on the stage, hosting this kind of three-way, four-way talk or whatever with myself, Ronnie, Kevin, William Bonac, and I don't know whether they're bringing in because obviously Wesley's going to be there. Yeah. Wesley Visses, who I just did the tour with, and I don't know who obviously because there's quite a few. I mean, there's quite a few names there, and I assume Lauren's going to be doing the same with some of the females as well. So I've said be prepared, and also I told her to check the social media. I said because there's a lot of they've got female powerlifters, female different from different disciplines. Yeah. So if this could be a good level up for you, I said if you go there, do your research on all these people from all these women from all these other sports. Because they might, like literally at the last minute throw that at you. I said, so go and be prepared. I said, because this is a chance to shine. So yeah, so I put a post up today because obviously the whole story with Kevin Navroni when I was 18 years old, day after the British Grand Prix, 1994. He sat with me and then he called over Peter McGough and said, this guy should have your job. And, I was just there basically spending the day with him. And I had a picture of Dorian Yates that I'd had, I printed myself in college in the dark room, printed it and I had it framed. And I was trying to give it to Dorian. I obviously didn't catch up with Dorian. But because I think he stayed at a different hotel. But Kevin was like, "Oh, you should maybe get involved in bodybuilding, magazines." Obviously at the time, right? And then it was that day that was kind of the turning point for my kind of entire life. Wow. Because I'm at 18. I'm at that crucial stage where what the hell am I going to do with my life? All I'm interested in is going to the gym, and I wasn't really a very good academic student. But several years I've been going to shows, taking photographs at the British shows and the Grand Prix, and I kind of so I knew what I was interested in, the photography. I was an okay writer, I was an okay English student, and so the next day when I got back, that was where I started my journey on, that's basically led me to you here today. 29 years. In 1995 I got published, and it's going to be it's kind of an emotional thing for me really to be up there with Kevin, and I probably don't bring that story up because it's not relevant, but I wanted to talk about it.
You got to bring it up. Come on.
No, I wanted to talk about it because remember I was with you at the Arnold Classic a few years ago. Yeah. And we bumped into Kevin at the expo, and I said, Kevin, I always bring it up. He knows I'm going to bring it up. And I said, Kevin, if it wasn't for you, I might not be here right now. And he said, and he just looked at me and went, Nah. He says, you'd have found your way. Because obviously that passion was, the thing is, you can have that passion, but you don't know where to direct it in life, But if someone like a Kevin Navroni, who was my idol then and still is, someone like that takes the time to say, it gives you that belief. Jordan Peterson always talks about how young men now have so little encouragement in life. He said that's why I think a lot of them fall off the tracks, right. Because it's so important to give people encouragement. And I think that's really echoed in what I do with all the media work. It's like I think I think sometimes we should never underestimate how much our words can really help and encourage people. It's like you know, like when I'm doing live stream or we're doing show reports or stuff like that, like they really take it to heart, this feedback, you know, because it's hard to get good feedback in the industry. So I think that's always given me a lot of meaning and purpose when we've been doing what we've been doing, you know. So and I take a big responsibility because, you know, these athletes are watching when you're doing your wrap-ups and like things like now, you know, they're watching. And if you say something that really is kind of unkind or irresponsible, it can destroy them, and it can make them or break them, you know. So I'd rather use it, you know, like Spider-Man, great power comes great responsibility. But I'd rather just use it for, you know, for good things and to try and make people sort of be better. So, you know, and that's why I get really upset when someone takes what I say the wrong way, or they try to undermine me or try to discredit what I'm trying to do. And, you know, so, but anyway, yeah, so I'm very excited. So yeah, it's going to be really cool with Ronnie, Kevin, and William. So can't wait.
Yeah. You know, I stopped to realize I've been in this working industry longer only because I'm older. You actually got into it several years younger than I did. So by the time you're my age, you'll have more years in the industry than I have right now.
Yeah. 95 I started taking photos. 93, even 92 I was taking photos. I was 16, I had like an SLR camera, you know, with like 35mm film. But I started actually getting published in the magazines like 95/96, and then it took me, I was national, like working for because there was like a good handful of British magazines. There was like 4 or 5 British magazines at the time. Then I went to European around 2007, 2008 with Body Fitness magazine, who did a UK edition. They were based in Spain. So that was European. That went to a lot of European, you know, and then 2010, I started work for MD, bodybuilding.com. I did stuff for Muscle Mag around 2008. So it took me 15 years to get international, to really kind of hit the top levels of what I was doing. Yeah. You know, and now it's kind of morphed into this live streaming and touring, and that's kind of where I find basically my new role is, and my new sort of direction of where I put my energies. So and it's keeping me nice and busy. But obviously, I'm obviously with the Ronnie tour next week. I'm at the daily panic attack stage now. So I'm not joking. I'm serious. I mean, I kind of had a mild one. I've had 2 when I wake up in the middle of the night, like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. My heart's skipping beats, and like Lauren has to literally stroke my hair and, like, you know, what's left of it, and literally like calm me down so I can go, because like it happened this morning. Like literally, I'm waking up in like a state of panic, and you know, when you wake up in a nightmare but you can't wake up out of it. It's and you're just lying there, and it's horrible. You're just trapped inside your own head. But it kind of comes with the territory, and once the tour happens and when it's happening, that kind of gets erased from your brain anyway, and it's always worth it. But at the end of the day, this is what I chose to do, so I am not complaining. You're
living the dream, Giles. You know, I envy how busy you are. It's you don't realize how good it is to be busy until you're not busy.
Yeah. Oh God.
You're like, shit, I wish I was that. I wish I was busy.
Tell me about it.
Well, let's move on. So we did our preview a week ago of the Flex Pro weekend in Milan, Italy. And we're so smart that we actually predicted the top 2 correctly. That's how genius we are. So let's take top 3. Yeah, we had Amer in third. Yep. I guess we'll look at the full lineup here for a second. This was the first call out. So we're looking at Justin Muzal on the left from Germany, Anthony Gel from France, second from the left, Nathan, and we have Behrouz, Amir Marajic. On the right, Christian Wolski, who ended up in 6th. He was in top 6. People are saying he got overlooked. I don't know. I mean, I'm a big fan of this guy, but you know, once you get past the top 3, yeah, it's a bummer if somebody could have placed a little higher or whatnot, but it doesn't really make or break the outcome of the contest for me.
Rob, what's the guy on the far left? He made his pro debut in Spain. I've completely forgotten his name. I don't have it in front of me.
I think that's Justin Muzal from Germany.
Yes, Justin. Yeah, I was really impressed with him in Spain. He looked really, really good. So that's another exciting newcomer there, mate.
Okay. So the top 2, of course, we knew just based on how good they are on their track record. It was Nathan Dasha and Behrouz Tabani. Conditioning, I think Behrouz had him on condition. I think Nathan had better legs than him. Yep. Structure. People were complaining or making note of Nathan seems to have a little bit of bulge around the obliques in the bottom. He doesn't have a gut, but he's got that. Yeah, people are nitpicky. You know that.
Yeah. I'm the reason I'm looking now to see it, but to me, his midsection His midsection looks good. I mean, he could be
yeah.
squeezing the intercostals a bit harder there, which would set that pose off a little bit better. But it's probably the second or third round of posing he's been put through. But for me, this was the best Nathan I think I've seen since the 2017 Olympia. I mean, look at the radial bicep, the legs. I'm glad the legs he held that size, because a few weeks ago I was freaking out because I couldn't believe how much bigger his legs were when he did that first update video in Q8, I think it was. And I'm glad that he retained it, because I was thinking, I hope he doesn't get to those last couple of weeks and it just all falls off,
Right.
But I mean, obviously, I'm going to disagree with Milos, but for me, I will maintain what I said. I think it was a flip of a coin. I think both physiques have their own attributes. I mean, God, look at Behrouz in that shot, though. Oh, that's like peak Levrone, isn't it?
People are complaining because you're the stripy delts guy. People are complaining there's no stripes in his delts.
Lighting shit, though, isn't it?
Well, this is a copy of a copy of a copy, I'm guessing, what we're looking at right here.
Right.
Well, let's look at the Moreau pictures in a second, because those are a little more crisp and detailed. Just want to finish this up. Yeah, see, I mean, Nathan's just got a long waist. It's nothing he can do. Dennis Wolf had a long waist, too, and he did pretty well.
Yeah, Dexter Jackson.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
Nathan looked damn good.
He did.
We'll talk about him in a little bit here, but let's take a look real quick at the Moreau pictures before we get out of this conversation about Italy. Jonathan Moreau, one of the greatest photographers at the moment, covering the sport.
Brilliant. I'm going to do a post about him tomorrow, actually, an appreciation post, because I remember when he's come a long way in 5 years. 2019, we bumped into him at the foyer in the Orleans at the Olympia. And just to think how far he's come in 5 years, he's really done well. It's good to see.
Yeah, I mean, great work, rises to the top quickly. I think the cream of the crop.
Yeah,
like the Gilco and the video stuff is amazing. But Jonathan, great photography. So yeah, this is a great shot for both of these guys, Nathan and Behrouz. Behrouz has wider clavicles, you can see. Those shoulders are just monstrous.
That shot there for Behrouz, it looks photoshopped because he looks so bloody good in it. I mean, I think honestly, if touch more legs and that shot there I think it could hang with Derek, Hadi, Samson, any of them. In fact, I think he would compare very, very, very well. But like I said, his legs have come up, but I feel like, and again, he's got like Nick Walker syndrome. He's got great legs from the side, great legs from the back. And from the front, they are good, but that upper body is so impressive. The shoulder to waist. He's got like a men's physique waistline. It looks incredible. And I just hope he keeps those improvements coming on the legs, because I think actually, I think he, straight away there, as he is there, he's a top 10 Olympia guy. But I think with a touch more legs, I think we've really got an argument for him being a top 6 Olympia guy. 100%. Which makes it even more frustrating, because this visa thing, why can they not get this sorted? This is getting ridiculous. If he misses this year, this is going to be the third year he can't get to the Olympia, and it's such a shame, because this guy is, I think, as he is there, like I'm thinking 5th to 8th at Olympia. What do you think, Ron?
I wonder if Iran is the hardest country to gain access to. I'm being dead serious here, because I see athletes from everywhere else, literally every other country. I know it had something to do with, they were worried, the U.S. government was concerned that they were supporting terrorists and this and that. But I see people from, I see Syrian athletes getting into the U.S. I see other athletes that were on that short list of countries that Trump was really against. So I don't know. I saw something where someone was saying, why doesn't Hani Rambod help him out like he helped Hadi? Why doesn't he sponsor him? I said, it's not that easy. You're not going to just sponsor. They don't understand how business works, and you don't just sponsor someone out of the kindness of your heart. It's a business. It's a very serious, very involved business partnership.
Yeah. I'm so glad. I mean, Nathan looks like significantly improved. Like here, I just can't take my eyes off his legs, because the amount of size he's put on in those quads is just absolutely ridiculous. And his chest and shoulders they weren't exactly hurting for thickness before, but now they just look incredible. Look at the legs there. I mean, he's got so much meat. I mean, that straight leg there, like that right leg sticking out. I mean, imagine, because so much meat is on them legs. I mean, it's incredible.
I mean, if Behrouz's legs were like that.
Yeah.
Shit. And that much more roundness and fullness around the teardrop.
But it's, I mean, you've got Nathan, I think Nathan's got a lovely shape, and if you look at it, actually, he's got more thickness, but then Behrouz has kind of more of a pleasing kind of look, kind of like pleasing lines.
Yeah.
But like I said, one of them had to win, one of them had to come second, and I don't think anyone would have argued. It's kind of, I think it was as close as it was with like Derek and Hadi last year. It really, really was. I will maintain what I said on the Instagram. I will say that it was a flip of a coin. And I maintain that because you've got two, like the side chest. I keep flip-flopping of who I decide takes that pose. I think, oh, look at that. And I think, oh, Nathan. And I'm thinking, yeah, Behrouz got those nice glute striations and the nice tie-ins and the nice, the deep separation in the arms and the delts. Also, again, his posing was shocking. His posing. I wish he'd choose better music, and I wish he would just put together not just him coming out and hitting those poses that he hit, whether it be a 60 seconds or his pose. Like I was look on Instagram, so there's this pose routine. I was like, well, I can't tell whether this is a 60 seconds or is with the music being chosen for him, or it's his pose routine. I can't tell because he does the same thing for both. I just wish, like some really nice floor poses and something where there's a bit of creativity, because I just think with a physique that good and that aesthetic and that kind of, he's kind of got, to me, he's like I said, there's real echoes of like peak Kevin Nevroni here. I really see it, like, with where they can look aesthetic and kind of pleasing in one pose, and then they can hit that most muscular and just look just like look at that. My God, it's incredible.
That's his best.
Incredible. Yeah. That is. I'd like to see that next to Hadi. I would.
No, I would too. I think they'd compare very favorably. Hadi's got better legs, and I think Hadi's got more stripiness, a little more detail in the upper body. Hadi's just like the king of muscle maturity, if you think about it.
Yeah. And then it's that density, isn't it? He's got that density, and I think, I'm not saying Behrouz ain't small, but you can see that like Nathan has that he's got that level above of like density and thickness, and his condition is very, very good as well. Even when he was at the back and his glutes were relaxed, they're still so sharply delineated and separated. And I was so happy because both guys for me absolutely delivered, and it made it really, really exciting show.
Yeah, we don't want to talk too much about glutes because people get really they start cracking jokes about us. But Behrouz has a massive advantage, and the development of his glutes is just ridiculous. It reminds me of Ronnie back in the day.
Yeah, like 2003 Ronnie. Yeah,
I remember talking to Jay Cutler about this. He's like, "Yeah, bro, Ronnie's got those Clydesdale glutes. It's hard, when those things are striated. It's the back shots are just very, very tough to beat. Forget about the back. The back, obviously, we know Ronnie was destroying everybody on that. But
look at that readable bicep in both guys. Really, it's it is something to behold. That is. To be honest, I'd like to see this new version of Nathan next to Samson.
True. Let's see. I want to show.
Oh yes. In fact, Behrouz as well, because Behrouz. Do you remember when? Did you see Samson's face when in Romania last year, Behrouz got moved into the middle? His face, just Samson's face, and like his body language just was like, oh shit. He just didn't expect it. And Behrouz now is a lot better since then. So that's another reason. So many reasons why we want to see Behrouz at the Olympia, but that's one good reason. We want to see him up against how he's going to stack up against like the Samsons, the Hadis, the Dereks, the Nick Walkers, because right now we can only guess how good Behrouz is. It was close between him and Bonac. It was he's narrowly beat Nathan there, who's like who's a multi top 10 Olympia guy, and he's only kind of got better really in the last year or so. So it's kind of we can't for certain say he's top 7 or top 8 material, because we hasn't done the bloody Olympia yet. So and you got Nathan, who hasn't done the Olympia since 2018. So there's two guys there that really we both want to see in the Olympia, because I want to see Nathan Diasha next to Andrew Jack. I want to see him next to, obviously Crizzo's out now, but I want to see him next to Crizzo and guys like that, and Hunter and Martin Fitzwater and Nick Walker. It's getting so frustrating with this whole visa thing.
Yeah, they both belong in on the Olympia stage. Nathan and Behrouz, they both rightfully deserve to be up there with these guys, and especially like last year, we had 27 or 28 guys in the show, and Both of them were qualified last year, and neither one of them could get to Olympia last year.
I know. And I mean, look. Tell me there now. How Behrouz next to Hunter?
Hunter's got better legs.
Yeah,
that's about it. I don't see this kind of muscle maturity and detail on Hunter.
Yeah,
have not.
What about Andrew Jack next to Behrouz here?
Much more dense. I don't know. That would be tough. But
the reason I'm throwing those names out, they're a similar level. And that's
right.
And these are, and Andrew Jack was 5th place at last year's Olympia. You got Hunter, who's been 4th place. So that's kind of where Behrouz really is. I mean, he's not like a 3rd call out guy. He's like he's kind of like sort of. I mean, I could see him in a 1st call out. I could see, because don't forget the year 2017 when Brandon Curry was 1st call out at the Olympia. He was 8th place. Rafael Brandao at the 2017 San Marino was 1st call out, and he was 8th place. So it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be a top 6 guy to be a 1st call out guy. So he's kind of like bottom end 1st call out, top end 2nd call out, But it's like, I mean, Behrouz, if you say he got to the Olympia, I would not be shocked if he managed to crack top 6.
No, I wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me. Again, it's going to be, obviously we know it's going to be very, very tough top 6. It always is. These are the best bodybuilders in the world. So top 6,
yeah.
That's elite. If you could retire and say I made top 6 in Olympia once, that's something most pro bodybuilders cannot ever claim. So.
Ronnie Raquel, Chris Cormier, that's something that separates them, because there's different levels there's so many different levels to pro bodybuilding, and there's also so many different levels to guys that even get to the Olympia. It's like, you can say I was a Mr. Olympia competitor,
right.
And then there's like, I was a top 10 Mr. Olympia competitor. Then there's top 6. And then, of course, you got top 3, and then there's obviously the champs. There's a lot of different levels, but we sort of judge these athletes based upon of which level they're at on the Olympia. So there's, like I said, there's a lot of different tiers to this.
True. All right. Well, let's move on, because speaking of the Olympia and who's qualified, I do have a banner of who's qualified. So we know these guys, and Rami I didn't put on the list because I don't think he's coming back, but he's qualified. Any Mr. Olympia winner, guys, qualified for life. They can jump in whenever the hell they want.
Rami, I've not heard anything. I'm not trying to keep anything from you, but my feeling is that I think Rami's done.
Yeah, and you know what? He had a great run. It was 10 years,
fantastic.
10 years in the pro. He got 2 Olympias out of it. I mean, come on. He'll be a superstar for the rest of his life. Millions and millions of fans all over the world. He's good.
Okay, here's a topic for Rami. I was talking about this with someone the other day. I was saying, when you have too many cooks. Yeah. I think once it was only when Rami did he sort of clear away everyone, just work with Chad Nichols, and stayed at Dennis James's house. Dropped 15, 20 pounds. So it wasn't a case of getting bigger. He actually had to come down in body weight. Only when those things happened did he finally. I know he came close in 2017 when he came 2nd to Phil Heath, even though I had Bonac beating him there. I feel like it was only when he did that, because can you imagine all these people like trying to pull you in all directions? Like sometimes, I won't mention names, but I've been at some of these shows and you see some of these athletes, and they've got like a freaking entourage, and I've got to be honest, they're really fucking annoying, these people, because they're just they're everywhere. They're in their face. It's like they can't breathe. I mean, I've seen them before where they've linked arms with them to get it. Like they have to like literally physically escort them out of places. And I'd be like, get off. Like, it's really, really annoying. That's why I liked about Dorian and Ronnie. They just kind of just got on with it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You didn't see all this bullshit, and there's a good reason why they never had like too many people, because it gets distracting. And if you're thinking you're listening to this person, that person, this person's having this input, and most of these people all want to take credit. You've seen it where I saw it recently actually with an athlete, and then all of a sudden all these people start posting these old videos because they had a training session with them 10 years ago, or they've got a video of them looking at their posing, and then they're trying to take some credit off the back of that athlete. And I just think Rami's a good example of someone that once he did that and he removed all those people, he basically flourished, because I wonder how much further ahead he could have been if he'd have just just stuck with one coach or just stuck with, and literally just did what, like I said, Dorian and Ronnie. Dorian had his little, very, very small knit team. I mean, Paul Baxendale talks about those days and how people weren't even allowed in the gym when he was training. If you did, don't look at him and all this. And, and it had a very, very small team of people. It was Stuart Cosgrove, Kerry Kays, only a few people that he would actually go to. And then you had the same with Ronnie. Ronnie just basically had Chad. He used to send his photos, and he had kind of like a very, like Samson as well when he's in the UK. He's very much, there's just a couple of people he go, basically, not they don't go everywhere with an entourage of people. Is basically my point. And I think it's always a bad sign when I see that.
Well, I mean, that seems to be the Oxygen Gym modus operandi. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing, but when they go to the Olympia, they go as a huge group, all the trainers, coaches, all the people that work for them. And yeah, I mean, they do surround them. They swarm the athletes. I can understand why the athletes might feel like special, like I have all these, like I'm a rock star, I have this big entourage. But at the same time, I think it can be sort of overwhelming too.
I was worried when I saw, Rubiel be an overnight success when he did the Prague show. And I was looking at his posts, and all I was seeing was him like with Gucci man bags and and then he was I didn't see any sort of hard training videos or like Nathan's been posting all year. Everything he posts is just him training like a freaking maniac with tons of weight, and he's psyching. It's like you see that repeatedly, and then you look at these other guys who kind of, the new guys coming up, and all it's pictures of them on beaches and wearing designer gear, and and then you full well that they're gonna have people pulling them all directions, and then funny enough, I saw a few videos and photos recently, and it was like I was starting to see the changes I wanted to see in those months previously. So I was like, oh, thank God for that, because I thought he's going to fall by the wayside. If this is, what he's going to get swept up in, all this kind of getting caught up in your own hype and not really doing the nitty gritty. And that is getting in the freaking gym and just basically Groundhog Day and just working your ass off and grafting, So it's, I was nervous there for a while, but I'm glad to see that the magic's starting to happen now.
All right. Well, he's on the list because that's what we want to talk about. I know we took a while to get to it, but the gentlemen who are expected to do well at the Olympia who are not yet qualified, this is the list, and I'll explain a couple of people I don't have on the list and why. So we have Hunter, Nathan, Andrew Jack. We're going to get to these one by one. Hassan, Charles Griffin, and De La Rosa, and Hollingshead. Hollingshead, I'm going to have him on the list, even though he's sort of iffy at this point, but we'll get to him.
I was literally with James a few weeks ago in Sweden, and he told me, he said, "Oh, I'm not still prepping." He said, I'm gonna do a first. Then he told, this was like 9-10 weeks ago. He told me then he was gonna do a show in a few weeks, and then I heard he was gonna do a show in late August. I mean, that's obviously coming up quick. I mean, we're in bloody end of June now. Right. So and now, did I hear? Have I imagined this, or have I imagined that he's taking the rest of the year off, or have I heard? Am I just making that up?
No, I actually tried to dig and do some research on it. He has not definitively said yes or no.
Okay.
For the season, but we'll get to him. I'm going to include him in the conversation anyway. Some guys who are not in the conversation. Krizo has already said he's done until the EVLS Prague show, which is a qualifier for the 2025 Olympia.
Ron?
Yeah.
Sorry, can I say something about Chris? I was a bit harsh. Yeah. I put some comments on social media.
You did.
And I was a bit harsh, and I hold my hands up, and because I was like, he just needs to be, just go and stay on the diet. You can just work around it. Dorian went up stage with his tricep hanging by a thread, blah, 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 blah. And then I found out from someone, they says, no, his shoulder is really bad. I mean, obviously, look at me. I've got my MRI tomorrow, finally. Wow. So I kind of sympathize with, there's no way I could be training for a contest with this, and by the sounds of it, he's had real problems with it. So if he read any of those posts and he thought I was being too harsh, I didn't have all the information at the time, and I do apologize. So I completely understand where he's coming from, and I wish him all the best because I'm a huge Quizzo fan.
Yeah, but it leads me to wonder, why is he even going to continue on and do the Prague show? I know that it's still a few months away.
Early qualification.
Yeah, but I mean, if his shoulder's in rough shape now, when's he going to get it fixed?
Yeah, I would imagine, like I said, complete speculation here. Yeah. Maybe he's just going to fight on through. Maybe he can. Maybe it's at a stage where he thinks he can at least get that, because at the end of the day, he's going for the win, because he's not doing it just to compete, because he's doing it because he wants an early qualification. So maybe they've said to him, look, you might be able to wing it for a couple of months, but then, you're going to have to get surgery and you have to be out for 3-4 months, your arm in a sling. I don't know. I don't know whether it's a surgery job or not. Like I said, I have no information. I have no knowledge on this. So what's your feeling, Ron?
I've had shoulder surgery and I need a shoulder replacement. I've needed one for years. So I have a little personal experience with it. If it's if it's in that much pain as it sounds like it is with him, that's something that has to be repaired surgically.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not going to get better on its own. It's not going to heal.
Ron,
I commend him for looking as good as he did. If it's that bad, he's been training through crazy pain.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I took that picture backstage because he was refusing other people for photos, and then I was sat chatting to him, and he was on the road thing, and I was asking about his kids, and his team was around him, the Peter Pick from the EVLS, the organizer of that. We were just chatting away, and I was how's life, how's things? And he went, yeah, and then he stood up, and he said, can you look? And I said, what do you mean? He went, oh, pose. And they went, oh, he wants to pose for you. And I went, yeah. I said, hang on, let me get my phone. So I filmed it, but I hit a shot, I think separately, or right after it. And you can see like his chest. It was, to me, the chest looked really flat. It's like I haven't trained my chest since all I can do is like a few sets of machine flies at the end of back or arms. Yeah. And all I can do is like I since early March, since I tore my shoulder. Yeah. So I'm thinking like that would make sense why his chest was not, because I was expecting some improvements, and I kind of looked at him and I thought he doesn't look any different, So obviously, he was prepping with the bloody, shoulder. So, hats off to him. But the thing is, you don't want to make it worse as well by just doing a show for the sake of it. But at the end of the day, he has pressure on him by sponsors, and plus he wants to qualify. So maybe this is his. And the thing is, if he goes and he doesn't win, then it's going to be, he's put himself through all that, potentially done more damage to his shoulder. And I just, fingers crossed, I really, I hope good things for him because, plus he's got some crazy shoulders as well. Yeah.
And, I've been through it. Training as you've experienced, when your shoulder's effed, when it's screwed, chest training is almost impossible. You can't press heavy at all.
A few sets of machine flies is all I can do at the moment. And and I don't even have it's a complete waste of time at the moment.
So a couple guys who I don't have on the list, Regan Grimes, who has said categorically, I'm done. He's taking the whole rest of the year off to improve. Also, Carlos Thomas Jr., I messaged a couple days ago.
Okay.
He is probably going to come back at the Legion this year to try to get an early qualification for next year. So he's not going to try to do qualify for this year.
See, he's another guy that really if he goes to that next level with his physique, I mean, there's a guy that he's, I would like to see him next to Nick Walker because I think he could be that good. I think he could be that good of that level, but there's just a few tweaks he needs to make to his physique, the conditioning, the bringing the back up, and but there's a guy that if he does break through that next ceiling, I mean, watch out.
Oh, all the potential in the world. All right, so now let's get into the guys who are probably still going to try to qualify for the Olympia. Of course, we know this guy, Nathan Dasha. This was last year's Europa show.
Do you know what? I knew that was last year straight away because, my God, look how much bigger he is now.
Oh, was this Italy?
Is that last year? That's last year.
That's what it said on our YouTube. That says Flex Weekend Pro. I think it was last year. It was last year. Yeah.
He is so much bigger now. I mean, do you know what? If Nathan needs to see how much he's improved and not just go by the scale, compare what I would do is I would get this video and I would put it in a collage with the literally the same 60 seconds for this year. And my God, he's twice the size now.
Yeah. Shit. So I thought he's already said he's going to move on and do Big Man Weekend show in Portugal, which is not this coming weekend, but the weekend after, which I assumed easy win, easy qualification. But then we found out Bonac is doing it. Oh,
yeah.
And Bonac doesn't need to do it. He's already qualified. But, Nathan didn't need to keep doing multiple shows last year after he won. But why not keep making that money if you can? So
it's unavoidable. It's unavoidable. And we've had this conversation many times, Ron. Like Mike Cox, he says, just guys, just go make that money. It's only so long. And thing is, I mean, 10, 12,000. I mean, if you've got a sponsor that'll match or do 50% of the prize money bonus, then it just makes sense. Especially and also the shows in Europe support the bloody promoters. Big names like Nathan pull crowds. They pull a lot of interest. Like Andrew Jack when he did the Arnold UK, I mean, that show was really made, I think, a big portion of it just by having Andrew Jack appear at that show. So it's important to and Nathan spoke about it before. He says, like, like this Tilly show. He says Barbara stuff. She puts on very, very good shows. They really look after the athletes. He says so. It's one of many reasons why he wants to support and compete in these shows.
Yeah, and he's another one, just like Behrouz. If he qualifies, I don't know if he's ever going to be able to get here. I wish. He's another guy that should be on that Olympia stage. He's gotten 7th place before, correct?
Yeah, he was 7th in 2017. Then he dropped to 8th in 2018, and he hasn't done the Olympia since.
Yeah, so he, I don't know the legal issues that he has to deal with as someone trying to gain entry to the U.S., but I sincerely hope he can resolve those. It's great for the European fans and promoters that he can keep doing all these shows over there, but there's a lot of people who would love to see him over here.
I am not going to mention names, Ron, but once I traveled, there was a few of us that traveled to one of the Arnold Classics, and one of the guys that came with us had been in jail for something. I think about a year. I think he served, and he was last going through passport security, and we were just like, well, it was a while, and it was like, shit, he's been nabbed, because and he just lied and he got through. I don't want to please don't. I will not mention the name. But he lied. I mean, he just lied. He says they asked him questions, and he went. They said any priors and whatever, and criminal records. He went nope. Criminal convictions. He said nope.
Couldn't they?
And he got through. So
maybe put it into like their database for 2 seconds, and it would have popped up.
This was I'll say this was over a decade ago, and obviously they get a lot tighter with things, don't they? But but yeah. So I mean, you can try that one, Nathan. Just blag it.
He clearly something's got to work. Let's move on to this young guy, another youngster, Hunter Labrada. Hunter's been as high as 4th at the Olympia. Yeah. This was Tampa Pro last year, I believe. He still needs to win something. I had thought when I heard Italy, I assumed he was doing this show in Italy, but apparently he's doing the other Italy Pro show, or at least that's what I heard. By now, he might have changed his mind. Like, why wouldn't he just do Texas? He lives in Texas.
But he's a man of that. That once he commits, that's what I like about Hunter. Once he commits to something, he does it. Like when he went up against Jack last year here at Tampa, I thought he was crazy, but he really gave Andrew a run for his money, which I didn't expect because I thought Andrew in my head was streets ahead. But when we actually saw the top two, pulled out right at the last minute, the last call out. Yeah. He compared very, very well. In fact, I think he took Andrew out in a couple of shots.
Yeah, so I think we'll get to Andrew in a second because we're trying to speculate which shows are these guys going to do, because if a couple of these same guys are going to be in the same show, one of them is going to get the win and the other one isn't. We have enough shows for all these guys to qualify if each of them wins one show.
So, Ron, if say a Hunter, or I don't want to mention names, but just say one of those names that you put on that list, keeps going up against someone that's already qualified and gets a second, doesn't manage to get a win for whatever reason. Yeah. I mean, you can't just bring the point system back or the special or give out multiple special invites. Right. But I think we're just gonna have to accept that there's going to be one or two major names this year that won't be in the Olympia. And I know you get dropouts, like you had Crizzo, who's pulled out for his shoulder issues. Yeah. Who else is there who's not? I mean, but pretty much all the big names, the Nick Walkers, the Sampsons, they're all in. But I don't know, because I'm saying to the bodybuilding fans, be prepared, because there are going to be some disappointed fans for some of these athletes this year, because purely it's not. I don't think there's anything they could have done differently, but and this is why like guys like Theo and stuff who've got really early qualifications they're in the best position possible.
Oh yeah, that's right. He is on that list. You're right.
Yeah, Theo.
All right, Theo Lecarriere. I'll never say his name right. Theo, I apologize. I'll never get your name right. So. Your mic's off, Joss. Can I unmute your mic? Sorry, you have to manually unmute your mic when I do that. Let's go back.
Right. Okay. Gonna do that again.
Yeah.
Yep.
All
Let me
right,
know.
now
Yeah.
we're good. So yeah,
Yeah,
Andrew,
I can say I'm aware. I see the button now. Yeah.
yeah. So Andrew has won the Texas Pro 2 years in a row.
Yep.
I'm assuming he's going to do that. People were speculating. Well, he lives in Dubai. There's a Dubai show with $100,000 first prize. And have you heard why supposedly he's not going to do the Dubai show?
I didn't know he wasn't doing it.
This is not confirmed. This could be pure fan speculation. They heard the rumor. I'm not saying it's true, that because he trains at Behrouz gym.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, hold on. It gets worse. So he trains at Behrouz gym, and the show is promoted by Badr Budai, who owns there's an oxygen gym, I guess, in Dubai too.
Yeah.
And I guess the differences between the two gyms, they're at odds with each other because they're each fighting to be the top gym in Dubai.
Oh,
I hope this is not true, because certainly who's going to beat him? We got some great guys doing it. Rubiel, who we'll get to in a second, but Andrew is certainly the top guy who would be doing that show. The fifth place at the last Olympia, $100,000 for first prize. Come on now, Andrew.
Oh, that's. I don't like hearing stuff like that. I would just, you know what? If I was Andrew, I'd be like, okay, if that is the case, or that's the rumor, or that's what people are saying, I just go and do it anyway. And then let the chips fall where they may, because sometimes this is just all this is just bullshit chatter that spooks people and scares them off. And really, there's no fact. There's no sort of. It's not based on anything. I mean, I just, but I don't know. I don't really know what really goes on at these Middle Eastern shows. But at the end of the day, they're sending American judges, so that those judges aren't going to be influenced by this kind of nonsense. So they're not. So it doesn't matter if what people are saying. I would, Andrew, if you're watching, mate, I would get your ass in that show and go win it outright, mate.
Yeah, if this was 10 years ago, when I think things were different and there was a lot more. Can I say fuckery? I can say there was a lot more fuckery going on with judging back in the days.
Oh, big time.
The further back you go in the sport, the worse and worse it was. So I don't think he has anything to worry about in that aspect. I think he'd be even if someone like Rubiel, who's great, Rubiel's not beating Andrew Jack. I'm sorry, Rubiel. You're not beating Andrew Jack. You think so? Okay, well, we'll get to him.
He's pretty good, mate. He's pretty good. And the thing is, like, he wasn't even in top condition at this show last year. I was there, mate. I was sat 20 foot away from where he was posing there. And I'm telling you what, this guy, thing is, it all comes down to not based upon what we're looking at right now, Ron. We're looking upon, okay, he's a young guy, but is he one of those young guys that's going to improve rapidly and he's going to improve drastically from show to show? Is this as good as it gets for the next 2 or 3 years of Rubiel, and we're just going to see pretty much the same? You don't know. Like I said, I was worried about his work ethic and what was going on with some of these pictures and videos, because I wasn't seeing him training hard in the gym. I was seeing him just living the life, of a bodybuilding, fitness celebrity. Right. But you don't know once he starts. I mean, I saw those prep videos, and he was looking like, okay, he's looking good now. He's looking crazy. So all we can go on is basically, like I say, with this, we don't know a lot about this guy. We don't really know. Look at the neck.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's trapped. I mean, I like him, but I'm telling you what, he's I mean, in the side shots last year, I thought he took Samson in both side poses. The side tricep, the side chest was absolutely insane. And I mean, like I said, it all comes down to how much he can improve and whether he can come in better condition, but still retain all that full round freaky muscle.
Yeah, I hope I wasn't coming across as dismissing that he has no chance. I just know how good Andrew is.
Andrew's bloody good.
I think Rubiel would beat him in some shots. He's so thick and dense and full and round.
Yeah.
But it would be good. I don't want to see any show where one guy just dominates. It's so boring. I want to see battle.
Yeah. That's what I mean. We want to see what we saw in Spain between Bonac and Behrouz and Crizo, and like a three-mate. Even though, well, I think the top two was pretty clear. Crizo wasn't quite like shredded. But like this Italy show, because Behrouz and Nathan were so close. I mean, that for me made for. I mean, I can imagine when you're there, it makes. I mean, I think the shows that we remember, the Olympias, all the pro shows remember, the ones where like Jay and Ronnie, Phil and Kai. These are the ones we really remember. Last year's Olympia, the first thing I think of is Derek and Hadi. That's the first thing I think of. And everything. And then there's all these other contests going on within the contest. Keon and Clarida. That's what made for a very interesting 212 Olympia.
Yeah.
Sergio Oliveira and Rivera. That year. There's Andrew Jackson Hunter last year at Texas. I mean, that's the stuff that gets the crowd going, because and also I think now they're like the Weinbergers and all these other judges. They know how to really not milk it. They know how to milk it, but they know how to really, because at the end of the day, they do want to see them moved around and posing, because it really builds excitement. And I'm so glad that they do that, because it gives the judges a really, really good chance to see, and see also how they're, see how much they can take. And I think it just sends the
crowd goes into a frenzy when they do that.
Yeah, it's awesome, mate. I mean, God, I remember that 2001 Olympia when Jay and Ronnie, my God, that first when Jay really stepped up, and that's something I'll never, ever forget.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, so when it's so close that almost none of us have any idea what's going to happen, who's going to win.
Yeah.
That's exciting, because we're all like, we're waiting for Bob Ciccarello, or it's usually Bob. We're waiting for the MC to announce the second place, and you're new, and everyone's like, you're literally like hanging on the edge of your seat, like waiting.
Or you get like a 2003 Olympia where Ronnie walks out and takes everything to a completely new level, and it's just basically, okay, well, everyone's fighting for second place now, because but then you get something that you've never seen before, like that, where even though it's obvious who the winner is, like Dorian in 93, really, as soon as you saw him, you're like, okay, this is something different. This is something there's no one is beating this, not even a pretty flex wheeler. It doesn't matter what condition he's going to bring. He's not beating that. And then it's just an argument, and then you just, you sort of, you're marveling at what they brought, but also, who's basically going to fight for second. So it's kind of, it works out in the end.
Watch your mic again. I'm going to bring us Jonathan De La Rosa. Oh, you're good. We're good. Yeah, Jonathan was a real surprise earlier in the season. 4th place at both the Arnold, Ohio, and UK. This is probably the best Jonathan I think I've ever seen. He's really come into his own after it was a two-year layoff, and went through a lot of personal things, relocating and divorce and all that stuff that happens to real human beings. And Patrick Tour teamed up with Patrick, and what a partnership I think these two have put together. So impressive. Yeah, he's he's been a really. I was just going to say I did ask him, when are you going to try to qualify for the Olympia? He's looking at either Tampa or Texas, probably Tampa, to come back. Yeah. So, can you hear me, Giles? Is this thing on?
Yeah, I can hear you just about.
Okay.
Yeah. It's on.
Yeah. Yeah. So he does still need to qualify, because we don't have the point system. But he's someone I really hope he does qualify and makes it to the Olympia this year, because he looked phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, just he's had a good season regardless, 2 4th places, and also bringing a physique it's kind of like the best version we've ever seen. It's not just like someone that's brought, he's had a couple of years off and he's come back and he's bringing back 90%, or he's on his way back to bringing something like he used to bring. But it looks fantastic. It'd be a great inclusion. I wouldn't rule out him being a top 10 guy, but I could see him top 10 maybe. Yeah, he's more of 11th to 15th guy for me personally. But I'm not going to say he can't be.
Of course, we would never do that. Let's see. So we mentioned James Hollingshead before. James has a knee injury, which I don't know how he was showing leg development like this with a knee injury. That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
But he may or may not be out for the season. He has not officially made a statement either way yet. But this was probably the best James I've ever seen, because I've seen him in great condition where he's super flat, and I've seen him fuller where he was washed out. This was the best overall package of size and condition I've ever seen on him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks very good. Yeah, I'm going to be seeing him actually in a couple of weeks. I'm taking Ronnie to his gym. That's right.
Did he open a gym with Jordan Peters?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm really excited to see that. So I've heard it's really, really cool. So I've been because his girlfriend is she's the one basically taking care of all the arrangements and the promotion for the event. So I've been speaking back and forth with her a lot. So so looking forward to. Yeah, James looks good. It's nice to see him. Yeah, I just hope he gets that leg sorted, because he told me in Sweden, he said it was very numbness and all this, and but so obviously I think the smart thing was to take a little bit of a step back rather than just keep prepping.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to see him back at the Olympia because he's done. I think he's done 1 or 2 Olympias now. Is it just one? Just one he's done.
I think it's 2. I think it's 2.
2. Okay, 2. So yeah, so he's going to be looking to improve on that and get a decent placing.
All right. Next up, Hassan Mustafa. This is from a couple of years ago, but he looked great here when he took 3rd at the New York Pro. He qualified for the Olympia last year. After took him 3 shows, but he did not do the Olympia. Did he? He wasn't in the Olympia, was he? Or was he?
Yeah.
He was. Oh boy, now I really look stupid. So
sorry.
So yeah, he's still going to try to. He's pushing on. He was not. What show did he just do? Was it Improv? No, it was Toronto, right?
It was Toronto, yeah. And he was basically, as soon as I saw that, and I said to you, I said he's peaking for Vancouver. That's an absolute given. Yeah, he's definitely peaking for Vancouver because he looked like a few weeks out, and everyone was like, "Oh, he should retire." It's like, look, he just needs a couple more weeks of prep. That's it. Don't get excited.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's got so much muscle. He's in a situation similar to Rami where he can afford to come in a good deal lighter, and I think it suits him when he does.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree because he's hanging with muscle.
Yeah, I mean, he could be flat and you wouldn't even know it. He's got so much size.
Yeah.
All right. Let's keep showing him for a little bit, but yeah, if he makes it to the Olympia, which I hope he does, where could you see him top 10?
Yes. He tests top 10. Well, he'd have to be bringing like his absolute best conditioning, or he's 11th to 15th guy, really.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to our last guy, Charles Definition Griffin.
Yeah. What's going on with Charles?
I haven't heard, but I assume he's going to do something like Tampa or Texas, Chicago. That would be my best guess. Maybe I should have messaged him and found out, but see, they're pulling the focus there. He'll come into focus here in a second, guys. There he goes. Nice. Yeah, I think he was 10th last year.
He was 10th. Yeah, 10th.
Yeah, so
because he said I've made top 10 because obviously had his mum died, and then he had he was like doing it for her sort of thing, the prep and dedicating it to her, and he was and obviously with the pec tear and everything else, he thought he did think at one point in his career he went through some tough times and some challenging times, and to then come back, win a pro show, and then get top 10 and say you're top 10 in the world. He said it was a very, very nice end to a very, very stressful, challenging year.
Yeah, I mean, I wish him the best. It's hard for these guys to the amount of guys I've heard of who had a huge tragedy in their lives and still managed to go through a contest prep and look really amazing. I mean, contest prep is hard enough as it is. Yeah, but if you're dealing with something emotional like that, my God, I take my hat off to anyone who
I think it helps. I think it helps. I think it keeps you mentally strong up here. I think it gives you something to focus on, to sort of not, because rather, better to be focused and be really immersed in something that's very challenging and takes up a lot of your mental and physical energies than to sit there staring out the window feeling depressed, because we've all been there. And I know when you're busy, you're not, it's like action killing anxiety. And, it's the same when it comes to, I think something like that, like grief, it gives you something positive to really focus your energies into.
100%. All right. So our final
takes a lot of strength, though. Takes a lot of strength, but when you do it, I think it's good therapy.
Okay. So last thing, we're not going to talk about this too much because we're not TMZ here. We don't focus on the gossip, but it was huge news in the industry. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't say something about this. So the big news was that Sam Sulek is leaving Hosstile Nutrition, and there have been videos put out, with no substantiation that he was only being paid $2,000 a month by Hosstile before his commissions on supplement sales, which I find that very, very hard to believe. If they signed him even a year ago, he was already very, very big numbers on social media. It was Nick Trigili put out that first one, and he's not always 100% accurate, as a lot of these guys aren't. So, first of all, do you think there's any possibility he was only being paid $2,000 a month? This guy with millions and millions of followers on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok.
I don't know really. It's like I'm not really part of all this. I'm not really the demographic for this kind of. I don't want to say anything that's negative, because he's a young kid who's done really well for himself, and I don't want to come across like I'm being mean spirited, or because I think, if you can make a living and you're a young guy, then good on him. I'm happy for him. But it's not. The thing is, he is not my demographic. He is not when he's doing his videos, he's not targeting me. He's targeting the completely different group of people. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe, I mean, at the end of the day, he was already established. He's already making a good living, and obviously being attached to a supplement company where that with your following, that forget the baseline salary, which if it was $2,000, that if you advertise those products to the millions of people that are watching your videos, then that if you're getting a percentage, that 2,000, okay, whatever, that's just my baseline. I know I can make X amount each month just purely by advertising to those people. So maybe he saw the value in that, and that's what he did. But yeah, good on him. But $2,000, it wouldn't shock me because it's. I mean, I negotiated a salary for Ruli once for BSN many years ago because he needed a contract, and the actual baseline salary wasn't. I mean, it was a lot more than $2,000. Don't get me wrong, but the baseline salary wasn't what you'd maybe expect. But then they said no, with bonuses and these kinds of things like discount codes, this could, even in that first year, it could make it up to this much. And I was like, wow, that's a lot more. It was like triple, quadruple. Yeah. So, I mean, say he makes $2,000 a month on that, maybe he's making $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 on the discount code. So he was, if he's smart, which I think he is, because he's done very, very well for himself, then, he was probably pulling in good money, mate, regardless. Like I said, the people fixate on the salary. They don't fixate on all the other ways that, you can bring in revenue.
Well, somebody did the math on his YouTube views. He's got a few million YouTube subscribers. His videos, I've been accused of, and maybe I have sounded like I was coming out against the fact that, he's this kid who doesn't compete and this and that, and I wasn't showing him proper respect, and I was sort of dismissing him because I come from that old era where the top Mr. Olympia guys and the top Arnold Classic champions, they were the superstars of the sport. This is before social media came along. And, I don't begrudge the kid his success. He works hard. And you know what? The public is never wrong. If people want to follow him and they find him entertaining and endearing and informative, then he deserves every bit of success he has because he's giving people what they want. And that's what it always comes down to.
Yeah. And he's not, he's not like a film star Chris Bumstead kind of looks. Do you know what I mean? He kind of appeals to a lot of lads that people can relate to a lot more. I mean, like those horrible baseball caps and the bloody curly hair, and he's not what you could call like a GQ kind of like model type look, which is kind of is unattainable and probably makes most people feel like shit anyway if they looked at him and thought, oh god, I'm just pale in comparison. But they'd probably look at this guy and they can relate to him because he's probably, like I said, I don't watch his videos, but he's obviously successful for a reason. Yeah. And I just he's cracked the code, which many others probably spent their lives and have agonized trying to figure out how to. That's probably why he gets lots of people trying to copy exactly what he does. So he's obviously he's been doing something right. So. And so what was the reason why he left Hosstile? What was the reason? Was he poached by another company? Was there a fallout? What do you know?
We don't. That has not been revealed yet.
Why leave? Why leave if you're making X amount and you're happy?
I am assuming he's leaving for bigger money somewhere else. I mean, usually when people leave a supplement company, it's either because they were very unhappy there or somebody just made them a better offer. Those are the Those are the two huge main possibilities.
You're not going to leave. You're not going to leave. Because I saw a video and he said they still haven't taken there's still product out there with my face on it or something. And then somebody else said, well, hang on, he only left a few days ago. And I'm thinking, well, no, he wouldn't post a video of saying they've still got product with my name on if it was only like 3 days after he'd announced. So this must have been in the pipe. This must have been in the works for a while, I'm guessing, because you don't start calling out on video saying you've still got my product with my face on there and my, because it takes a while for those products to kind of be sold, or I don't know how it works really with licensing and stuff like that. I'd imagine it's like, okay, then we won't make any more with your name on it, with your face on it. We'll just sell off what we've got, because at the end of the day, those customers who have the product. I've got it. It's their product. They can, so you can't, Hosstile then can't go, right, Sam's not with us anymore. Take everything off your shelves and send it back to us. It doesn't work like that. So it takes a while for it to, probably sometimes several weeks or months, for it to go out of circulation. So I don't know. There's like I said, it's not something I've looked into. It's not something that really interests me that much. But I just hope, because I don't like seeing the wars and all that. And I saw the stuff between Triggerly and Hosstile and stuff, and I don't like seeing all that nastiness and the and all the bringing up Triggerly's past and stuff, which is, I don't know. I just think it's quite toxic to the industry. I don't like seeing stuff like that. And I know a lot of people thrive on it and they love it because they love drama and stuff. But I think those guys need to get their estrogen levels checked.
Yeah, it seemed very, very personal attack. And it was, because the Fouad usually, as someone who's the head of a major company and, he's very well.
It's not getting dragged into it. Like I'm not saying I've not done gay for pay, but I'll be honest. I've not exactly been squeaky clean in my entire life, let's say.
Sure.
So and if I got into a dispute and somebody knew something about me, I'd hate to think that could be online, or it's like when you see like these ex-girlfriends and ex-partners coming out and they they go to the newspapers and they put really intimate details, and I just think stuff like that, and it's splattered out. I feel very uneasy with stuff like that, and I realize I'm in the minority, but to me, I just I do look a little bit sometimes, but then it just makes me a little bit sad,
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I want to say categorically, if I've come out, it seems like I've said things against Sam. I was only making snide remarks about his fans when they would post things like he would beat Chris Bumstead or he would beat Huddy, because like we've been saying even for years on our podcast together, a lot of these social media fans, they are fans of a person or a bodybuilder, not fans of the sport.
Ron, somebody said to me yesterday, he said, these queues of people to see Sam Sulek at the expos, he says, they aren't even bodybuilding fans, they're Sam Sulek fans.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And you
so that really blew my mind. That blew my mind.
Well, think about Bumstead's got, 25 million on Instagram. How many of those 25 million people do you think are actually classic physique or bodybuilding fans? A fraction.
Yeah, it's just people. It's probably. I wonder what percentage of them are people that actually even train. I would imagine, I would imagine, say there's a fair majority of them are bodybuilding fans.
Yeah.
And maybe follow the sport, but then how much of them how much of them 95% would train, or do you think it's less than that? Because I just think, why would you follow someone like a Chris Bumstead if you don't at least train and you want to, and the reason you're doing it is because you want to look like that and you want to emulate that?
I don't know who follows who and why, but I would speculate that probably maybe 2/3 of the people who follow people like Sam and Bumstead train themselves. I would say it's more than half. I'm sure of that, but I don't think it's the vast majority, because Instagram's just, I like the way this person looks. I like their personality, or why do you subscribe to their YouTube? I like their videos. I don't think you necessarily have to be a bodybuilder. That's where we sort of, it's tough for us to make that line in our heads, because we come from that era where fans of bodybuilding, you were a hardcore fan. If you were a bodybuilding fan, you bought the magazines, you went to the contests, you went to seminars. If these people came to your town, you had to be deeply invested with your time and your money to be a bodybuilding fan back in the day. Now you have a phone. I could follow Kim Kardashian. I could follow Chris Bumstead. I could follow anybody I want to. It doesn't cost me anything. It's convenient. It's just tap, follow. And like I said, the public is never wrong. It's just, I sort of got snippy when I hear some of the fans making these ignorant remarks. And I say ignorant in the true sense of the word. They just don't know any better when they say, this guy's bigger than Bumstead, he would beat Bumstead in a contest. They have no idea what they're talking about. And I get black. Believe me, I've had to delete the comments because I've had like 100 comments back at me, calling me all sorts of names.
Yeah, like I said, Ron, not my or your demographic.
No, and they call me grandpa. And I'm not a grandfather.
You are, aren't you? You are, aren't you?
No, I could be. My daughters, they want my son-in-law really wants kids, but it hasn't happened yet. But yeah, I could be a grandfather for sure. I'm 54. My oldest sister was a grandmother at 32.
Wow.
So yeah, you could do it.
Have we got contraception in your state?
We do, but my mother had 7 kids. That sister had 6 kids.
Wow.
One of her daughters has 7 kids. There's a lot of kids running around. Yeah, we're getting way off topic, but man, we've covered some diverse topics this week.
We sure have.
I'm surprised there's no open men's contest coming up this weekend.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Well, I'm off to Ireland on the weekend.
Is it the same place and everything? Same venue?
Yeah, I'll take a photo of where I was when the ambulance came to get me, because I was sat on some pallets. I know I'm going to go back and visit. I'll do a little video of me, maybe just see my reaction of. I'm very nonchalant about the whole thing. Really, I'm like, I've got no PTSD or trauma or whatever. I just the whole.
Are you emceeing the show again?
No.
I mean,
no. I to be honest, I decided actually last year. I think I don't really want to, because a couple of years ago I really wanted to pursue the emceeing thing. I wanted to. But now the whole live stream thing has taken off, and it's commonplace at so many shows.
Yeah,
that's really what I want to pursue now. I want to pursue the live stream and the tours and stuff like this, and talks like at expos and stuff like that, like what I'm doing with Bonac and Lavroni and I'm such a name dropper. It's a show, but like stuff like that is that fits my jam right now. So and it's taken up pretty much like enough time for me to be busy and happy and satisfied and. So it's falling into place, So that keeps me. That's keeping me. That's where my energies are lying.
I mean, if I was a contest promoter like Emilio and I could choose to have you either MC or do the live stream, to me it would be a waste of your talents to have you MC, because you're just announcing people and placings. Where live stream, that's when you shine, when you get to put your commentary in there, your analysis, your insights. Things that you see with your very, very educated eye as someone in the industry for decades.
You sat down. You can, and I know it sounds. I'm not joking when I say it, because when you stood on your feet and you got people watching, you can't and like the one in Sweden, you had cameras on us and stuff. But like you can, and if there's enough of you, you can just take your headphones off, go take a break. Say or bring somebody, like in Germany, we got Jennifer Zeenat, the current figure pro winner of that show, the M Pro. We brought her in with AJ to do the figure. Robert wellness creator, brought him on the wellness with Lauren to do the wellness. We kind of just they leave us to our own devices, because they know that we're gonna rotate it and keep it. So you kind of have a bit more freedom just to do what you want. It's like judging. I would never want to judge, because you can't interact and integrate, and socialize with people at the shows, because you've got to keep a distance. Yeah. You can't. I mean, like at times judges are literally avoiding people trying to take selfies with them and stuff like that, and they're very standoffish, and you almost have to be rude to people, direct, almost rude to say no, just like in hotels and stuff. All the judges go sit in the corner together, away from everyone. I wouldn't like to do that, because when I'm there, I'm excited to see everyone, and I want to speak to everyone, and and it's so the judging and the emceeing, and I think a big part of show promotion as well is not very appealing to me. But the stuff I'm doing right now is absolutely for me. Yeah,
I mean, you've really found your niche, what you're excellent at, and God bless, man.
Stressful though. Stressful.
Oh my God. But you know what?
Fun though. It's fun.
If you were sitting at home twiddling your thumbs, you'd be like, "Oh man, I wish I was stressed out again. I wish I was busy like that."
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So I have to remind myself, even like I have had like it happened 2 or 3 days ago, about 4 or 5 in the morning. I woke up and I was like, and like I said, you're not fully awake, so your brain, apparently there's 2 parts of your brain. There's a creative part, and then there's the logical part. And apparently, this is my NLP coach told me this. He says, when you wake up in the night and start stressing about things, he said the creative part of your brain comes awake instantly, and the logical part that basically negotiates with that part isn't fully awake. So when you're in a situation like that, probably try and just wake yourself up fully and go do some cardio or go for a walk and wake yourself up, because it's like your brain's not functioning properly for you to be able to rationalize. Because usually I'll go back to sleep and then I wake up and then I feel absolutely fine. I'm like, what was I stressing about? Lauren was like, fucking no, you were going crazy like 3 hours ago. But it's I don't like it, because I like my sleeping, and I don't like waking up in a distressed state, because your heart starts beating and then it's not nice. It's very distressing actually. But like I said, it's just part of it. It'll all be over when and then when you're on the tour, you're having so much fun, and it's amazing. And all the posts go out, and you're doing all these amazing things, seeing all these people, and going to different countries, and it is amazing. It's always like the Wesley tour was exhausting, but it was so worth it. It was so good. I just love it. I love it.
I mean, the way I always say, when I'm super busy, something that always came back to me was, if you're stressed out and you wish you weren't so busy, Matt, there's a lot of people out there who would love to be doing what you're doing right now. They would give their left nut maybe even both nuts. I don't know. Depends on what they do.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
man, that's it. We've had another great Power Hour thanks to Giles Tiger Thomas. So, guys, if you like the show, please subscribe, like, share, ring that notification bell so you know when we have content on the channel. Really trying to get this channel built up with the help of awesome people like Giles Thomas and behind the scenes Jen Gerisi over in Long Island, New York. And yeah, I'm very, very blessed to have you as part of this with me, Giles. Appreciate you doing this.
My pleasure, man. Enjoy it.
Cool. So that's it, guys. Put some comments below who you think will qualify for the Olympia, who won't qualify for the Olympia, or comments in general if you like my hair or Giles' shirt or anything.
Ron, sorry. I've completely forgotten about your hair. In fact, somebody from the waterboard came this morning and I just stared. I think he just had his hairline down. Let's have a look. Because I haven't seen it. I'd forgotten. So I'm so sorry.
No, don't believe me. It's not like
it looks good, mate. It looks good. It looks good. See, you see, if it looked dodgy, I'd be looking like be staring like that guy this morning. Yeah. When he came to the door, the walkboard guy. I'd be like, I'm thinking, yeah, because it looks natural. So that's what you want, mate.
Dude, they gave me 0 discount. I paid full price out the ass, so I'm not hyping them up for that reason. But I went the Now Hair Time that I went to and that Bumstead and Ian Valier went to, Coach Greg Doucette, top notch. I have nothing bad to say about them, only good things. Well, except I wish I could have got it done for free, but what are you going to do? Maybe next time.
Get 28 million followers and maybe you'll get done for free.
Exactly. So it's not free, it's marketing, guys. I'm being facetious there. So anyway, that's it for another episode of Power Hour. Guys, please leave a comment below if you have any topics you'd like to see us address in the next Power Hour or any upcoming show. Please let us know. Appreciate your viewership, and we'll see you right here next time. Thanks for watching.